And I think I paid probably, I think it was 11, 12 quid. I mean, at the time it was selling for 30 to 40 pounds easy, and I think the guy had spelt like Burning Rangers with an O, you know, something really stupid, and I was just lucky at the last few moments I saw it going, put my bid in and bang, and won a copy. It was quite a good game, but again I just didn't get on with it, you know. It was I just can't do I think it's the ugly look of the 3D games at the time. I have exactly the same problems with the N64 and the PS1. It's great when they do the high-end 2D games, such as the Alundra RPGs, you know, that sort of thing looks fantastic. And possibly with Final Fantasy VII, I really like the look of that, but you know, they were trying new stuff. But the platformers, Crash Bandicoot, you know, Banjo-Kazooie, good game, but it just wasn't my sort of thing. But yeah, well, the worst one of the lot out of that was the Sega Saturn. I mean, I had one back in the day. I mean, I just started working roughly 97, 96, and yeah, I didn't have much money. I mean, bloody hell, this is going back a long time now, and I was only earning about £400 a month. I just started on I just did like an apprenticeship office scheme. Terrible job, but and the money was poor, yeah, but you know, it was good experience and so on. But I used all that money over a couple of months to buy a brand new Sega Saturn, and they were about £400 at the time. Some of the new games I got for it were like Resident Evil. I remember buying that brand new. Didn't get on with it. I've never been a fan of the Resi games until 4, I'm afraid to say. And Tomb Raider, which I loved that absolutely to bits. And but none of the other Saturn games at the time, they never really stood out or excited me. And it wasn't long before I ended up selling it and buying an N64. And lucky for me, I was able to get my hands on so, you know, Super Mario and Zelda, and it kept the love for that generation going. But besides that, you know, I've never even playing the Saturn recently. You know, I've had access to all these games on eBay, and I just can't get into it. The screensaver's gonna come on here in a moment. Bloody hell, I've been muttering on for ages already. But yeah, like I said, there's nothing really appealed to me on the Saturn. Guardian Heroes was a good game. I enjoyed that, got on with it, you know, fair enough. But I mean, I think it was because of Sega America at the time, which is quite famous for these, whatever, Bernie or whatever it just turned around and says, no 2D RPGs or RPGs in general. So it never as a system made me go out of my way to pick one up. So yeah, I'm going to say Sega Saturn. Sorry, I've been going on far too long. I'm sure it is, some of you may love the system. Personally, the games just never appealed to me. There was always better something elsewhere, so it's always escaped me. Game endings. Question wise, I'm quite bad at sticking to a game all the way through to the finish, and you are buying way more than me, that's probably true, than me on lots of different systems. How many games do you manage to get all the way through, and typically what's your platform of choice that you get most games finished on? Well, I will admit actually, a lot of the games I do get through I tend to play maybe half an hour to an hour after I first buy them, unless it's really expensive, you know, and then I will go out of my way to sit down and play it through properly. But yeah, unless it's like an RPG, a lot of the games I just don't complete. I take quite a lot of the challenge on, like Super Castlevania 4. I mean, I must have played that for equivalent about 6 or 7 hours and got 3/4 of the way through. But a lot of the others, if they're just too difficult, they just go on the 10-minute power. You know, when I've got spare few minutes going, I'll just sit down and blast through them. Like the Sonic games are a good example. I did them a good number of them recently, 1 and 2. Well, I've done them in the past. I'm on my way through. Got about halfway through number 3 before giving up, and it's about the same with Sonic and Knuckles. But generally, I don't get through many games, like I say, unless it's an RPG and it's got a pretty gripping story. I just try not to go around. Try not to go through them all. Mega CD games are different. A lot of them are quite short, so it's easy to get through anyway. So yeah, I'm not much of a completist. But that's different for some weird reason when it comes to the more modern games, like the Xbox, the GameCube, you know, even the 360 going up to really modern day stuff. I don't know why. A lot of them, you know, they've been designed to be completed in 10 to 15 hours, and I can do that quite comfortably in a couple of evenings or over a weekend or something. I don't mind doing that. But some of the more, all the retro stuff, it's really more, it's arcadey anyway. It's designed just to be played, to have some fun with, and to let it go. And that's what I tend to do. So I hope that's answered that question. Next one by Ian Wilson at 1978, which is that crazy guy who's after a complete Japanese Mega Drive collection. It's never going to happen, Ian. I'm sorry. I don't think you'll ever get to the end of that, because I don't think you've got the bank balance or the patience for it. I'm sorry. So give up now. Move on to other systems. So his question is, if you could only keep one system with one game, what would it be? Oh god, that is a tough one. One system and one game. Thinking through them all now. It would have to be I'm going to cheat a bit. It's going to be, and it's not just because it's new, but it's because it's a game game series rather. I always return back to, but they're not really a series. It's my Sega Dreamcast with Shenmue 1 and 2. And the reason I say I keep them not really separate games, it's just the same story carried on. Yeah, Shenmue 1 and 2, I just love them. Now, I've not had a chance to do the gameplay vid yet, but I will do them a bit further. You know, I played on for a couple of hours and I can explore the town and so on. And I saw it off on the channel. There's just something so endearing about those games. It draws me in. The music, the atmosphere, the characters. The gameplay can be a bit off at times, especially on the first one, but for the second one, again, it's not really a sequel in the sense that the entire story of Shenmue is, it's like a book reel. It's a set of chapters, and I think the first game covers chapter 1, and then the second game covers like chapters 3 to 6. You know, but it's just one continuous game world. And if I have to give up everything in the entire collection, I would never give up those games, because they're not, I don't view them as games. It's just so incredible. Well, anyway, I think that's answered that one. Moving on. Next up is the 16-bit warrior. What would you say is the most underrated console you own? It's quite easy for that. It's going to be the PC Engine. I mean, I don't even know why I picked this. I think I went to Bikeback earlier this year and I was chatting to a guy from Console Passion who had the stall on, and he was trying his usual sales spiel, trying to sell me stuff, and I just saw the PC Engine, started asking about it, and then he, after trying to sell me a few shoot 'em ups, and as you could probably tell from my channel, I'm not a great fan of those. I finally got around to the CD unit and some of the RPGs and stuff, and it just drew me in with the platformers. And it wasn't really released over here, so it's no surprise that people don't go on about it. But when you look at the American side, I mean, with the turbo graphics and mix in with a Japanese game, it's pretty much the ultimate arcade system. You've seen the Arctic game and some of the other PC Engine stuff, but just on the Super CD-ROM side, you were looking at 3 or 4 years before Sega even came out properly with a Mega CD, and they made a botched job of it. But the PC Engine CD unit, it's absolutely fantastic. They had a good selection of platformers, arcade games, RPGs, all mixed in with some FMV stuff. So that's it for me. It's underrated. It deserves another look. Next question of 16-bit warriors was, what type of media do you like games to come on? I do prefer cartridges in the sense that I can physically hold them in the hands. You feel like you're getting your money's worth. It's handy. It looks great. It's hefty. But at the same time, I like the ease of use that CDs provide. Like just looking at. Hang on a sec. I've got a ton of GameCube games, as you already know, but they're all tucked away in here. I don't know if you can see that. It's very small, as per the GameCube games. I've also got one for keeping my Dreamcast games, on the way, keeping my Dreamcast games in. My PC games going something similar. and I can just stash the cases in a closet somewhere, and then I've got the games to hand when I want them. I've got the CDs, you know. So in that regard, I would say I prefer CDs for the ease of use, but I prefer cartridges for that special collector's feel when you first pick it up.